Good afternoon everyone present here. So I'm going to start my second video on the topic of types and forms of tourism. In my first video I've already mentioned a few of them, but today more in depth and details I'm going to elaborate a few of the terms related to different varieties of tourism. So I'm going to begin with the first form and type of tourism, that is adventure tourism. By the word adventure, we know that adventure involves more of thrilling, fun-filled activity, who is a kind of a risk taker and daring to do all various sorts of activities. So let's get started. The first is adventure tourism. Adventure tourism involves the exploration of remote places where travelers can expect the unexpected. It involves connecting with a new culture or new landscape, at the same time being physically active. In order to perform the various adventure activities, one has to be physically fit. Some of the adventure tourism activities involve day hiking, backpacking, zip lining, free fall, rafting, mountain biking, and snowboarding. Other than that, we have different examples. For example, mountaineering, bungee jumping, isn't it? Rappelling, snorkeling, skydiving, trekking. So these are the various examples of adventure tourism. The next type and form of tourism that we'll be talking about is accessible tourism. Accessible tourism ensures people get access to tourist destinations, products and services regardless of physical limitations, disabilities or age. Some of the people we see, they are not able to walk properly, isn't it? They are not able to see properly, but for them tourism is accessible to one and all. There is no differentiation. This tourism market was promoted through the research commissioned by the European Commission, where the stakeholders provided insights on the complexities involved in accessible tourism. Right? There are some various forms and types of accessible tourism, which has got few examples such as barrier-free destinations, activities, exhibits, attractions, and more. The next form and type of tourism that we'll be talking about is AgriTourism. AgriTourism, by the word itself, what do you understand by AgriTourism? It's related to agriculture, right? So AgriTourism or agrotourism normally occurs on farm. Basically it involves farming. It gives travelers an opportunity to experience rural life, taste the local genuine food and get familiar and various farming tasks. This type of tourism is also referred to as farm stays in Italy. So in Italy, it is also known as farm stays. Some of the types of agritourism are direct market agritourism, experience and education agritourism, and event and recreation agritourism is also one of the variety. The next type and form of tourism that we are going to talk about is alternative tourism. Alternative tourism, also known as specific interest tourism, that is SIT. SIT involves travel that encourages interaction with the local government, people and communities. Many travelers choose alternative tourism because they love nature and want to preserve it. Some of the approaches by alternative tourism involve ecotourism, adventure tourism, rural tourism, sustainability tourism, solitary tourism, etc. Next, we have atomic tourism. Atomic tourism has recently emerged, where tourists learn about the atomic age by traveling to sites such as museums with atomic weapons, missile silos, vehicles that carried atomic weapons. Some of the top atomic tourist sites in the world are the Trinity site, downtown, the Titan Missile Museum, Hanford B Reactor, Los Alamos, the National Museum of Nuclear Science and History, etc. Next, we talk about benefit tourism. According to Medical Dictionary, a popular time for non-British citizen, that is benefit tourism. Example from the European nations, who comes to UK to live off social security and other entitlements, including child benefit, child tax credit, state pension credit, job seekers allowance, and employment and support allowance. These benefits are only afforded to Type 2 recite test. Next, another type and form of tourism we have birth tourism. Birth tourism, also known as maternity tourism, is the practice of traveling to another country for giving birth. This is a very new form of tourism, in fact, and in countries like Europe and America, it's a very popular form and type of tourism, where the ladies are seen to be traveling to far-off destinations in order to give birth, apart from their own residential place. The main reason for this practice is to obtain birthright citizenship in order to acquire the citizenship. Other reasons include access to public schooling, healthcare, and sponsorship of the parents. Some of the countries that gave citizenship by birthright includes US, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Jamaica, Bolivia, etc. Next, business tourism. By the word itself, we know what this business tourism is all about. People who are traveling not to seek solace or peace of a leisure pleasure, but rather they're going for work purpose, and they are being sent from various companies to work. Next, we have culinary tourism. Culinary tourism or food tourism is for food enthusiasts who love to explore the different food destinations. This is a welcome change from standard travel itinerary, as the trip involves the opportunity to learn new cooking techniques, to taste different kind of varieties of food. Some of the top culinary tourism destinations in the world are Spain, Dubai, India, Tokyo, Bangkok, Japan, Peru, etc. Next, we have culture tourism. Culture tourism is where travelers engage with a country or religion's culture, especially the lifestyle and other elements that shape the life of the people. Tourists get immersed with related activities such as rituals and festivals. They come to enjoy the varieties, folk festivals, music, dances, the cuisine, etc. Next, we have dental tourism. This is also a new terminology which has been added to different types and forms of tourism. Dental tourism, by the word itself, it's something related to teeth, human body, right? So dental tourism or dental vacation involves people seeking dental care out of their local healthcare system. It may also be accompanied by a vacation. So people basically who are going for the treatment of their teeth, dental purpose, as well as for taking a vacation. In developed countries like USA and Canada, dental care is very expensive. But whereas in a country like India, medical tourism is very famous as it's very inexpensive and it's affordable for all different sorts of travelers who wish to travel for medical purpose. Next, we have disaster tourism. Disaster tourism or black grief tourism, the same thing, involves visiting environmental disaster places that are either natural or man-made. People are attracted to this type of tourism because of its social, academic, or cultural essence. Some of the most famous disaster tourism spots in the world are Hurricane, Pompeii, Exxon Valdez oil spill, Naval Air Engineering Station, etc. Domestic tourism, as I've told in my first video, what is it all about? People who are traveling from one part to another within the boundaries of a nation and without crossing the boundaries of the nation. That is said to be a domestic tourism. For example, a person traveling from Delhi to Bombay will be termed as a domestic tourism. Why? Because he or she is traveling to different states without crossing the boundaries of a nation. Next, we have enotourism. Enotourism, wine tourism, or vinitourism involves tasting, consumption, or purchase of wine. So this is a new form in wine tourism. These tourists visit wineries, taste wine, go on vineyard walks, or even take part in the harvest. Some of the world's top destinations for wine tastings are France, Portugal, Greece, Italy, Argentina, Australia, South Africa, Spain, etc. Next,